Greetings, everyone. Welcome again to that Microsoft MVP show. And this is, we talk about here business applications. So, you know that we run two tracks. In one track, we talk about the first party apps, and in another track, we talk about the business, the Power Platform apps. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the first party app. So, in the first party app, we are discussing about the sales app. So today we will talk about that how this cart management happens in the sales app. So here is the agenda for today. So we will start with the basic sales process. So we will do some revision, a quick revision so far that what we are talking in all this sales process. And then we will start with the cart management, and we'll see that what are all the operation that we performed when we work with the code, and we will see what is the basically typical quote life cycle, and what are the different status of the quote, and how it proceed when we start from creating a basic proposal and sending it to the customer. Okay, and then we'll see like how we can create, what are the different options that we have for creating the code, and we will look into that how we can set send this code to the customer. And then finally we will discuss about the revision of the code, and in the last we'll discuss on that how we close the code. Okay, so after this then we will jump into the demo, and we will have a quick demo about all these process. So let's have a quick intro about ourselves. So myself Mahender, and I have with me my friend. So I'm connecting today from Himachal, and my friend Venkata, he's connecting from Hyderabad. So we both are Microsoft MVP as well as CSharpCorner MVP. So Venkata, you want to say hi to your audience?
Hi everyone.
Okay. So as I said, let's have a quick revision about the sales process. So we have been discussing this, starting from the lead. So we discuss about how we create lead, what is the basically purpose of the lead, and when it is qualified, how we change that lead to the opportunity, where we basically we add that product or the services that is required by our customers, right? So once that this all the opportunity things happens, and we are good with that information that we captured from the customer, we captured all the product and services whatever we are working with, and we provided all the pricing information there. In that basic line item calculation is done, then we move to the next step, which is basically the code creation. Okay, so then the code creation is basically sent to the customer, and depending on that customer is satisfied on that or not, we do different operations on the code. And once that is done, we move to the order management, and where we create order, and then similarly after the order, that invoice process comes. So these are the later stages that we will have another sessions where we will be discussing about the order and invoice. So today we are going to focus on the code management. Okay, so in the court management, so the basic idea of the court is that we have that opportunity where we have that all the details and product and services details. Now when we basic all the information that we captured in the opportunities are from the customer only. But after that we want to share all this information as a document, or maybe on the report, or maybe on the email with the customer, so that we agrees on that whatever they require we are shipping to them. Okay, so the mutual confirmation, the mutual understanding between the customer and us who is going to deliver those product and services is required. Okay, so in the code basically we create code from the opportunity. That is a very traditional way of creating the code. And when we create code from that opportunity, it means that all the information that we have in the opportunity, that is basically inherited in the code as well. So all the information which we entered in the opportunity, that comes into the code. So we don't need to enter all that existing information again. But if there are some new changes that we can do in the code part. Okay, so we add the new product, or maybe we want to remove some product based on the discussion with the customer, those things can be done in the code. Okay, so once we have that product and services, then we create a formal document, or we create a formal report from the code, where we have the printed reports and all the pricing informations are there, that we share with the customer. Okay, And once we are agree, or with that customers, and customer is like, okay, they all need all these products only and these services only, and of course they are good with the pricing information as well, right? Because pricing information is very critical here. Okay, although we have when we start initial discussion about that, we provide them all the details, but still when they are putting the order, it may be that they put some orders on the bulk, and they want to do some kind of negotiations. So those things happen in the quote. Okay, and let's say if we send some this quote document where the pricing to the customer, and they are not ready to pay this much, so maybe they do the negotiation, and maybe they need some more product or some different product, so maybe we can remove some product here. So all that things happen in the quote management. Okay, so now, as we know that this quote management operations, so let's discuss about the quote typical life cycle. So this is a typical life cycle, but of course, as this is a very highly customizable product, you can do any changes if you want to, inject some in between any custom, status or custom process. That we are always, we can do that. It support that. Okay, so the code basically creation start with the draft. So when we create a new code from the opportunity, that default status that we get here is the draft. So which means that it's we can do the modification, we can do any changes on that. Sorry, we can add some products or we can remove some products or services depending on that. Okay, so once we are ready, okay, now everything is there, now we want to share this information with the customer, we activate the code. Okay, so then once this the code is activated, it becomes read only, so we cannot do any changes on that. So it totally forms become the read only. Then we have option where we use that information by this quote information. As I said, like we have different options. So we have the reports are there, we have some button are there when you can click on that and you can generate the PDF and you can share the PDF with the customer. Okay, and then based on the customer discussion, and if they are fine with that, whatever information we have provided, whatever pricing information are there, if they are good with that, then we go and we do the revision, right? So we do the revision on that. If they are not good on that, we do the revision, and then it's again go to the draft, and then again go to the active state, and then we again share that latest quote information with them. Then we have finally we have two things here that mainly we count as a won and lost. So won means okay, they are agree with that, now we are going to you know proceed to the next stage where we will be discussing on the order side, that where we need to fulfill that, where we need to ship that information, all the product or services. So that status is the won. But in before apart from the won, if due to some reason or due to some kind of they are not more interested on that, or maybe there are other regions, that quote can be also lost here. Okay, which means that they are not interested in our product and we are not going to proceed to the next stage. So then quote are lost. We also have one option to cancel the quote as well. So when this when there is a button where we say that we want to close it, and under that we have different status where we can select that if we want to lost or we want to cancel. Okay, so that's a typical life cycle of a quote. Now now we know that what is basically the standard quote life cycle. So how we create the quote? So first thing, as I said, that very traditional way of creating quote is basically from the opportunity. So you see here in my screen, this is basically a opportunity form, and under that opportunity we have one tab called quote. Under the quotes here we have one subgrid. Okay, so when we click on this button, it create the quote, and the quote is created and it opens the new form. Okay, so which means that whenever it's opening the form, the behind the scene, the CRM platform already created the code for us. So the form is opening on the update mode. So if we want to do any kind of changes there, we can do that. As I said, that by default in the first case it will be the draft status, which means we can do any kind of modification, any kind of pricing changes, any kind of other information that we want to update. Those things can be done here on the draft. Okay, so this is the one option that we do create from that opportunity, and all the information which is already entered in the opportunity, that comes into the code. The another way here is to create the code, just like the we can use the, we have the global quick create. So there also there is an option to create the code, but this you can see that here this information is blank, which means that you need to provide all that information manually here. It's not going to get something from the parent entity. Okay, so because whenever we create the child record from the parent entity, that time only it inherit all the information which is available in the parent entity. But in this case, as we are creating code directly, so we won't get this kind of information here. So you can see here we can provide the code information, like what is the name that we want to give it. That's basically the default primary field for most of the entities that we have here. And then you see that there is another required field, which is basically the potential customer. So quote is basically always related with the customers, right? So we are creating doing business with our customer. So it could be account, or it could be a contact, depending on that, who is your prospect and who is your customer. So depending on that, we can select it here. And then you see here we also have a option here for selecting that opportunity. So but if there is any existing opportunity you want to select, you can select from this lookup. That is also possible there. So that's another way, like when you can create that quote using the global quick create. So these are the two typical options that we have here from the UI, that we can create the quote. Okay, so now we created the code, we entered that information, we entered, the product information or the service information. We check that, what if you want to apply some kind of discount, so that is also applied, whether it's a individual or the bulk discount. So that all that is done. Now we are ready to share this pricing proposal with our customer. So you see here we have a option called this, export to PDF. When you click on that, you get this kind of dialog. Okay, so you see that here we have an option that we can print this proposal, we can download this proposal. And here we have basically mainly three options. The one is export quote as a PDF. So we want to export it, so it will be downloaded to your machine, and then from there you can print, or maybe you want to share on the different email, so you can just attach that document. That's there. Attached to email is basically if you want to attach it from the CRM itself. So under the CRM email activity, you want to create an email for this customer, and you want to attach the PDF for this code. So that will be done using this option. And there is another option, save as notes. So let's say for example the code you also want to attach in notes as a attachment. So for the example, later on if you want to see that, okay, what are that codes that we have shared with the customer, so that is also you can see on the notes section. So these are the options that we can use, and we can share that pricing information with our customer. Okay, so now we send this code to the customer. Now it's their turn. So they will, review all that pricing and all the products. And if they want to do some kind of changes, maybe they will come up with, some new requirement that, okay, no, we are also looking this product. And maybe now they will say that, okay, no, we don't need this product anymore, or maybe they want to increase the quantity of any product that they we are going to ship them. So those kind of thing, or of course if they want to do some kind of negotiation on the pricing as well, so that kind of thing can be done here. So if we will get that kind of request, so you see here we have an option called revise the code. So when we will click on that, so this code status will be again changed to the draft mode, which means that we can do the modification. So whatever modification that is required, we can do that. And here you see that we have a revision ID. So that provide that information that how many times this quote is revised. So every time you will do the revision, it will create a new number, so it will do the increment here. Okay, so you can see that those revision id on the quote, so where we can keep track of all these informations. And once we are done with the new changes, whatever changes that we need to do, based on the customer request, if all this information is done, then we again activate the code. Okay, and then again it go, the same process, we share that with the customer, and again they will review it and they will see that okay, if they are fine with that, then we will move to the next stage, which is basically the closing the code. Okay, so we have option there, like we can use, as I said, that next stage is the order management. So if they want to create the quote, order, and they basically the quote is won, then we have a one status which is basically won. So there we can see that we have, under this dialog we have the option that if you want to close that opportunity, if you want to do all this, you also capture like details here that when it was won, all these things are there. And similarly, if the, because due to any reason, if the quote is lost or cancelled, that can information is also captured here. So these, all these things basically available on these dialogues. So there are different two buttons, so we will see in the demo. There are two buttons which we use, and using those buttons we close that quote. And you know we can see that if we want to close that parent opportunity or not. Okay, so depending whatever you will select, it will behave that and close the quote for you. Okay, so that's all about the quote management and how we create the quote and how this quote proceed with the different status, from draft to that closed, as lost or won. Okay, so that's what I wanted to cover today on this part. Now I will pass mic to my friend Venkata, and he will do the demo for all this code management. Over to you,
Thanks,
Venkata.
Mahender. Thanks, Mahender, for a nice walkthrough. So let me share my screen. So just confirm you're able to see my screen.
No, we are not able to see it.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, now you can, right?
Yeah, we can see it now. Yep.
Okay. So hi everyone, welcome back again for this new episode of business application. So here, if you observe, right, this is my sales application, sales trial that you can see it. And if I go through here, right, in this left side session, you can see in this particular section, you can see about the opportunities. So just I have clicked on this particular opportunities. So as per the last session, we have created one opportunity, which is nothing but A1 product query. So I would like to provide and generate a code for this particular opportunity. So for this, what I'm going to do here, right? So just I'm going to click on this and let me maximize it for you. So here, hope you can see a product that is A1 product query is my opportunity name. So here, if you observe how we can for this particular opportunity, and so if you observe, right, this was the contact Venkat and this was the company that is Venkat Co. What they were saying, the immediate purchase time frame was immediate. So uh, current situation, all these things, these are not been given. So if you observe, right, for this particular product, I do have the product line items and also the product. So first thing is right, first we have to add the product for sure. Okay, so let me add that particular product for you quickly. Just I have added it. Okay, now the product is present. So now let us go to this. Let me save this opportunity. Okay, let us go to the codes. If you observe right, so codes is nothing but it is an subgrid that is present in an opportunity. So that means opportunity is the parent and code is the child. And an opportunity can have multiple codes. So which is nothing but one opportunity will have multiple codes. That is nothing but 1:n. Okay. So as mentioned earlier, for a code, obviously to uniquely identify it, a quote ID will be present. Okay, and it will be followed by a name and the status. So what kind of status is that is open, uh, okay, sorry, that is a draft, like that. Okay, draft in progress, all those things. So effective to and effective from. So you need to understand these two values, the importance of it. So generally, right, so if we ask for a quotation for one particular product, then what they will give, okay, so Venkat, this is the code for you, and this particular code is valid for 1 week, or it will be valid for 3 days. That means from today, that is 6th, from the 9th June to the next week, or 9th June to 12th June only, this particular code is present. That means if within this particular time frame, if you come, then only this particular price is valid, otherwise the price will get changed. So normal cases, in normal scenarios, we will be seeing this one. So now let us go and quickly create an new code. So obviously at the background, what was happening, right? So a child code will be created, and it will be attached to this opportunity. So if you observe right, as per the earlier discussion, as I am creating this particular code from an opportunity. So obviously the code ID will gets created, and then all the product details will carry from the opportunity. Okay, and also the detail amount of this particular product, that is for one quantity, that is 100 br. So freight amount, all these things, that also comes into the picture. So main thing is for the code, right, we need to provide a few of the other details, like just the shipping shipping details. Okay, payment terms. So which I'm not going to touch here, where it has its own significance. Whenever you are using it in, you will see them in the later part of the sessions. Okay, so here just I am going to enter the various details, like where to ship this particular coat. So Hyderabad, and is India. Okay, this was the billing address. If at all you have the same address, then you can copy and paste it here and ship to city. And just I have entered all those details for my quote. So now what I am going to do, right, so I am going to save this particular quote. Okay, so if you observe, This particular quote will have few of the details. Example, right? Um, so whenever I feel this particular quote, the details, everything has been verified, then what I will be doing it, right? So if you also observe here, my code does not have any effective from and effective to. Okay. So for that, just what I'm going to do here. So just I'm going to select here. If you observe the status, it shows as in progress, and I'm going to select the effective from. Okay, so I'm going to give few days. Okay, this particular code will be valid from 6, that is the June 9th to June 12th, and the status is in progress. Just have take a just consider this particular status that it is showing as in progress. So now what I'm going to do, right, just I am going to save this one. Okay, so for this particular product ABC, just I have provided one particular code that having these particular details. So now what I'm going to do, right, um, so still the status was as shows as an in progress. So once if I feel okay, all the details are correct, everything is present, right, then what I will be doing it, right, just I am going to activate this particular code. So once this particular code has been active, right, then if you can observe, this total code will become a read only. That means so you will create an code by having a conversation with the product with the customer, and you both agree, then you will simply make this particular code as an active. Okay, now if you observe the status, it still shows as an in progress. Let me refresh this one. Okay, so now it was shown as an active. That means I cannot do any modifications here, so I cannot change anything. Now what we have to do, right, so okay, so the particular code has been active and it's read only. Now what I can do, right, I can export this particular to PDF. That means, so generally, right, what all the things that we can do it, we can send this particular code to the customer in the form of an different ways. So if you observe, so this was the pop-up that you will see, that is export to PDF. It have the couple of options, that is print code for customer and the code summary. If you observe, for if I select the option of the print code for customer, the look and feel of this will be different. So if you observe it, you can see these details. A predefined text will be coming up, and here all those details will be shown. If I see this select as a code summary, right, obviously what it will do, right, it will simply provide the details, like the what is the product query, bill to the customer, to which particular customer you are going to send the bill, and the details, all these things that you will be getting it. So there was some changes on the print code for the customer and also the code summary. Now let us go to the different options that we have here. One is the download. If I click on this download, right, you can see an print code for the customer has been opened. If you observe it, which is nothing but this one, to Venkat, all these details that you will be seeing it. Okay. So now, otherwise, if I select this code summary and I click on download, in that case, you will see this particular tabular format, like, okay, so what is this particular bill, what is the product that we are giving it, and what is the quantity, what is the bill price. So generally, right, this was the kind of quotation that you will see at any point at any particular shop or at any particular retailer or at a wholesaler or any company like that. So let us go back to here. There are other options as well where I can rename it by giving the another name. By default, the code summary used will be coming it. Another option was uh, email. So if I click on this particular email, right, what will happen? So you can observe here an email with all the details that you will be getting it. So at the background, what we'll be having, right, an email activity will gets created, uh, and it populates the details directly from the opportunity to the code and code to the this particular email activity. If you observe, right, I am the owner and the customer was to Venkatko and CCBCC A1 product query. Just I am saying that okay. Uh, So let me increase some font here. Here is the code that we discussed and agreed over the phone. Just I will be saving this particular one. So if you observe, there is also an attachment that is present, which is nothing but A1 product query. This is the regarding, and also right the duration. If you wanted to you can add it, and if I wanted to attach any particular file, so that I can attach that particular file, and I can also insert my signature if at all that is also present, which I can provide it. So if at all, so if you observe right, this was the code summary, which is generated as a part of an attachment. That particular attachment will comes to this particular email activity, and then it attaches to this particular email activity as an attachment. So if you observe the process, order, quote, and for that particular code, and then email for that email and this particular attachment. So if suppose you have if at all a process that has been configured for you, why I am getting this particular reason, that particular error was the mailbox was not configured for here. So if at all any email box has been configured, that is in various, that is again in a big topic. If you can configure that one, right, obviously if at all your sales team click on this particular send, right, automatically an email gets sent to your customer, so that without directly again opening the outlook and copy and pasting all the particular code and attachment, typing it and memorizing the customer details, those all details that cannot be done by using okay, that cannot be repeated again if at all you use this particular sales one. Okay, now let us come back to here, this option of the email. So download, it will download the attachment, and email, it will helps us to send the code summary or the print code to this customer. And another option was save to dynamics. So if you observe, right, if at all I click on this particular save to dynamics, it go and sit here uh, in the timeline. If you observe here, so this particular code summary, it has been added here. So let me zoom it for you. So I have performed a couple of actions. One is the email activity. That's what in the timeline I will see this particular email activity that has been shared. And another one, so hi Venkat, here is the code that was delivered over the phone, and this was the code summary. In the second one, right, what I did, just I have simply saved this particular code without sending that to the customer. Okay, so these two activities that can be done by using the portion of this particular export to PDF. Now what was happened, right, after I sent this particular code to the customer. Then he said that, okay, Venkat, for this particular product, right, I'm getting a much better discount. So why don't you provide a discount of 10% and send me the code back again? So for that reason, what I have to do, right, just I can revise this particular code. So if you observe, right, revise means the read-only code will become again as an uh, editable, and if you observe the message you can also edit that particular one. Now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to provide an discount of 10%, and also freight also I'm providing an same 25% of the try. Okay, so now I'm going to save this. So if you observe, there are few of the important things that you have to observe. So if you observe, the quote id will keeps on changing, and also the revision id will also keep changing. There are multiple ways. At times this particular revision id for this same code it will be 0, and for the another code it for the same code the revision is 0. So to track that one, right, the revision id will keep on incrementally increases. Okay, so now you can ask me a question. Okay, Venkat, now we have created first one particular code and we have revised it. Can you show me that particular opportunity and show me what are the details that are present? So for that particular opportunity, how many codes are present? So let us go back to here, the opportunity again, and then just I am opening here this opportunity and clicking on the codes. If you observe, right, the code id was same, but what was happened, the status has been changed from closed to draft. That means for the same code id, if you try to revise it, right, then the first revision, that is the 0 which you showed seen in this particular one as a revised one, right, it will be closed, and the new one which will be shown as a draft. That means for a single quote id at a time it will have a single record. Okay, that's the main reason that you will see it as a status. That's why if you observe, right, if we try to open this one, so if you observe, right, the status it shows as an revised. Previously what it has showed as an in progress only, and also the record status it shows as an closed. Okay, now let us go back to now let us go back to this particular code, and then open it and click on edit. Okay, so now what I am going to do, right, just I am going to activate this particular code. Okay, so if you observe, right, this was the detail amount, 10% discount I have given. So the freight amount also I turned to be the 90, and the freight amount 25 I have given again, so it changed it to 115. So now everything was fine, and I am going to activate this particular code. Once I will activate this particular code, obviously our record it will become record status as active. Now again I followed the same iterative process of exporting to the PDF, sending that particular code to the uh, customer, and customer what he final, right, okay, he felt good. So now what I am marking it, right, just I am closing this particular code. If you observe, the status reason was revised. So status reason lost, cancelled, or revised. So keep it. I am keeping it as a revised, and the close date. Okay, the customer has given it as a close date and description. So Venkat Co is the account name or the company name. Finalized this code and agreed to pay for the. selected product. So if you observe right, I am giving it as an create a revised code, which is yes. Just I am going to click on yes. So now if you observe right, the code gets closed, and then so let us go back to here to the opportunities again and select again another opportunity, the same selected opportunity, and then I am going to click on the codes. So if you observe right, this has been closed and this has been closed. So let us do one thing. Just let us edit this one. So I am activating this code, and then just I am closing this particular code. I am saying it as, if at all I say it as an cancelled or lost, that would be fine. If create a revised as code, if I click on no, right, close the associated opportunity as yes. Okay, now what I'm doing, right? So if you observe, if you click on yes, right, obviously again the code gets cancelled, and then another same code will, with the another revision ID, it will get created. So that's why if I again I am closing the code, you have to very much judicious whenever you are providing this one. Close the associated opportunity. So this was the another important thing that you have to consider. See, if at all there are number of things that will be handled here based upon the need. So for an opportunity, if at all code everything has been generated, right, few people they will close that particular opportunity, but few people what they will do, right, they will not close that particular opportunity, just they will close that particular code saying that achieved, just customer agreed to pay for this selected product. That's it. Because the main intention, right, for the same opportunity, if at all number of products that are present, other products are there, there is no need to create again an opportunity for that. So due to that reason, the functionality was given as an out of box, such that if you wanted to close that particular opportunity whenever you are closing a code, that is well and good, we have that opportunity, we have that particular option to do that. Otherwise you can make it as an you can select the option as no, saying that please don't close this particular opportunity, as I still have other products that I would like to get the different codes for it. Okay. And also another important thing, if suppose if you wanted to assign this to another particular team. Okay, so for that what you can do, right, you can either assign to me, or you can assign to user or the team. Okay, so generally, right, a team or another people that you can assign this particular code just like any particular assignment. And also you can also check the particular axis, okay, for this particular record, what kind of access that you will be having it. So as I am a system administrator for this particular one, I do have all the access. If suppose you don't have this particular superior admin access, right, then these details that you will not be getting it. Okay, only the minified version of this particular access privileges that you will be getting it. So with that, right, so this is how in the sales process the code generation, code closing, or the different kinds of options that you can do it in particular code with all these particular details. I hope this will be helpful. And so Mahender, do you wanted to add something?
No, I think you have explained very well. Thank you, Venkat. And I think we have covered all the scenarios here. So we have discussed about how we can create code from the opportunity, and how
Yeah,
we can do all the modification in the draft code where we want to apply any kind of discount and all those. So all these things that we do in the code management, you have explained well. So I think that's what we wanted to cover in this session. So I think we are good on that. And keeping that, now in the next session we will be talking about the power platform virtual agent.
virtually.
So stay with us for the next power platform session. And as I said earlier, that all of our sessions are basically recorded and available on the YouTube. So feel free to watch there, and share it with your friends and your community. And thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.